We're starting with story time today. So, when I first started my business, I was 20 years old. I was fresh out of uni, had no idea what I was doing, had no idea what I was going to sell. I was just impatient in my job search. And by impatient, I mean it had been 3 months. And I think deep down, I really did just want to start a business. I'd started a bunch on the side as I was going through uni. So when the opportunity came to do something like that, I was like, I'm going to figure this out. And again, I had no idea what I was doing, but I was really fortunate in that I was able to network with people on Twitter. And that's where I met my first business mentor. Now, Robert has taught me so many lessons over the years. But one of the biggest ones was that we only ever have two priorities in business. The first one is to sign new clients, and the second one is to manage those clients perfectly. And if we can take care of those two priorities, everything else figures itself out. Either we find the time to manage it or we hire help to support us. But really, as the business owner, those are our two priorities. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because the way that I sign new clients and manage that whole process is through my sales CRM in Notion, which is exactly what I'm going to be sharing with you today. This is where I am managing leads on a daily basis. I have it front and center of my sales and revenue dashboard. And going through this process has really helped me track exactly where I'm putting in my efforts, where I'm attracting leads, and how I can double down to spend my time and my energy in the places that matter most. Of course, when they go through the sales CRM, it then becomes about managing clients perfectly. That's something we'll be talking about more this week. But for today, let's head on over to Notion and I'll show you how I've set this up. So here's a look at the sales CRM system that I've set up for myself and the template that I'm giving away to you today as well. So you'll see here, I've got a lot of views along the top, but it's all based on this one database. So let's start by walking through that. You'll see I've just got the name of the lead. I've then got the contacts, and here in your template, you would type in those contact names. But tomorrow I will be sharing a contacts database where you can connect the two. So you would go in and you would select the contact. I then have suitability here. So what type of client is it if I've worked with them before, or what type of lead is this? And this will just help me navigate the conversation and how we go through that sales process. Then I have referrer. I want to know exactly where my leads are coming from because then I can spend my energy and effort generating more and remove anything that's not working. Now, within the lead itself, I'm going to open up and show you here in a second. I will put a note of exactly who is referring me clients if it's word of mouth. I definitely want to keep track of that. And then here under offer interest, I will put in what type of service they're interested in based on what I provide. So do they want branding and website design? Do they just want website design? Or do they want sort of consulting? I will type that in there too. Then we have how much revenue this is worth. So if I click in here, you'll see under edit property, I can change this from US dollars to my preferred currency if it's not that. Then I have what stage they are in the process. So we've got inquiry, lead, qualified to buy, proposal sent, contract negotiation, sales closed. And then down here at the bottom, I've keeping track of any lead that falls off and exactly what happened. Did they ghost? Are they not a fit? Was the proposal not accepted or was it terminated? And again, I'll put notes in the lead itself, but this is really important information that helps me decide, one, do I want to work with this client again if they come back around? Two, where are they falling off and why is that happening? And three, I will use all of the data that I'm collecting to improve my own processes along the way. So I find that to be really helpful. Then I have my last contact and then I have my next contact. And what I do is I set a reminder and I can change this to the day or the day before. So I remember to reach out and follow up. People talk about it all the time. The money is in the follow up. But if you're anything like me, you would forget that stuff if someone didn't tell you to do it. So Notion tells me to do it. And that way I remember. So I'll put a reminder in there as well. And so all of these different views at the top are based on this template. As always, if we come down to new and click this drop down, there is a template in here. I'm going to open this up and show you what that looks like. So if we just change that to full view, You'll see here I've got some background information. I'll add any resources here and then notes from past interactions. And this I'll build on as we go through the process. So every call that we have, every interaction we have, I'll come in here and I'll take important notes. So where this gets interesting is in the different views that I've created. So this is a table view, but if we click here, I've got my sales pipeline, and you'll see what I've done is I have grouped it by what stage we're at. I've changed it to color columns. I've made it so that it's in the right order. And you'll see here, I can now pull people through my sales process. And over here, where we've got these drop-offs, we're able to see exactly how many drop-offs we've got and where that is happening. And then I'll have notes in the interactions on why that happened. So that's one view. We've got our sales pipeline, and then I've got lead sources. What I've done is it's the same database, but I've created a Kanban board view and I've grouped by referrer. And that way I can see where these leads are coming from, and I can double down on my efforts, at least in the areas where it's working. And if there's an area where I'm putting in a lot of effort and it's not working, I will explore why that's happened. Then I have a gallery view of all my sales closed. So right now we're not seeing any of those. But if we come over here and I change this stage to sales closed, we'll come over here and that will now appear here. So I can see all the sales that I've closed. And then if I just want an overview of everything, that's going to show me that there. So with sales closed, all I've done is I've added a filter to say that it's at stage 6 in the sales closed. And I've changed the view to gallery. When it comes to the overview, there's no filter, it's just changed to gallery. And what I've done is I've come over to properties and I have shown how much it's worth and suitability there as well. So playing around with these different views has actually been really helpful in building out my sales and revenue dashboard. And it's all centered around this one really simple sales CRM database that you have access to. All you have to do is sign up to my newsletter. The link is in the description. Now, the only thing that's different about my own personal sales CRM is I have contacts as a relation. So it's talking to a contacts database. And I will also link this to my projects database. So the way I do that is I just come in here, I change the type to relation, and I will connect it to my contacts database, and I'll show it on my contacts. And now I can click through to my contacts database and assign the contacts related to that lead. So that's one way I make a relation. To change this icon, you just click in here and you can change it to people. And the other relation I have is I link this column, if we add a relation again, and I'm going to link it to my projects. So I'll start typing in projects. Now I've got a lot of templates in here, so I have to find the right one here. Here we go, client projects. I will add it on my client's project. It will show up as sales CRM. I'll just change this to CRM for now. I will add that relation. I can change this icon to a lightning bolt. That's how I do my projects. And then what I can do is click through here and I can say, okay, this is the project I'm working on. So you would set up the project and then you would come in here and link it. And that way, even if we're working on multiple projects together, I'm going to be able to come into my sales CRM and see them all here. So that's a little look into my sales CRM system and how I manage that in Notion. But there's a step before this can all take place, and that is to attract new leads. Now, a lot of that for me comes down to a direct outreach strategy. And so tomorrow I'm going to show you what I do to set that up and manage that in Notion as well, and how I connect that to my sales CRM so that I've got a clean process for reaching out to leads, guiding them through my pipeline, closing the sale, and then later in the week, we'll go through how I manage client projects in Notion. So if that's something that you're interested in, be sure to hit subscribe and click the little bell icon so you can be notified when I release that video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow.